Hi Greedy 3Ders, it's hard to believe it's already been just over a month since the FlashForge Creator 5 arrived in the Greedy 3D Man Cave, and I have spent just about every spare minute putting this machine through its paces. Now if you've watched my first impressions video, you will know I was genuinely excited when this printer landed on my lap. 4 independent tool heads, almost zero purge waste, impressive print speeds and a completely different approach to multicolour printing. On paper it looked like one of the most exciting consumer 3D printers that I had seen in quite some time. Now over the past month I have thrown everything I could at it. Long multicolour jobs, overnight prints, single colour models and plenty of everyday projects to see just how it coped in this real world use rather than just a few showcase prints. Now it certainly hasn't been perfect. There's been a few frustrating moments along the way and we'll get to those shortly, but it also produced some genuinely outstanding prints, and that's what's made this review so interesting for me. One thing that's worth mentioning before we dive in is that the printer I'm reviewing today isn't exactly the same one I unboxed a month ago. Well, it is kind of the same one, but during that time FlashForge have released multiple firmware updates. They've updated the Flash Studio several times and actively responded to feedback from myself and other early adopters. As more Creator 5s reach customers, they've listened to those too. That's one of the reasons I held back on making this 1 month review. I didn't want to judge a brand new platform after just a few days. I wanted to live with it, see how it developed, and more importantly, see what FlashForge were committed to improving the experience once printers were out in the real world. Now, if you've somehow managed to avoid all the excitement, maybe you've been living on the moon with your fingers in your ears around the Creator 5, here's a quick recap of what makes it different. The headline, of course, is the flash swap that it does. Instead of feeding every colour through a single nozzle and purging large amounts of filaments every time it changes material, the Creator 5 uses 4 completely different independent tool heads, each filament having its own dedicated hot end. So the printer simply swaps to the tool head it needs. Well, why does that matter? Because in theory, it dramatically reduces those wasted filaments. It speeds up multicolour printing and produces cleaner colour changes without constantly flushing material through that one single nozzle. If you've ever watched another multi-material printer happily dump what feels like half a reel of filament into a purge bucket and then ultimately into a bin during a long print, you'll understand why this is such a big deal. It's a completely different way of approaching multicolour printing. And it's one of the main reasons I was so keen to get this machine into the Greedy 3D Man Cave and up and working. The rest of the specification is impressive too. We'll just go over it briefly. You get a 256 by 256 by 256 millimeter build volume, and automatic bed leveling, automatic flow calibration, Wi-Fi connectivity, onboard camera, flexible PEI build sheet. Nozzle temperatures that go right up to 320 degrees means it's capable of printing anything from PLA and PETG, though to more demanding materials like ABS and ASA you can also do those, but don't forget it's an open chamber printer, unlike its big brother, the Pro, and I've mentioned that in my review. Now, if you'd like to see my first impressions and unboxing, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. Make sure you go and watch it. But as for the printer itself, I actually quite like the design. It's not going to win any beauty contests, a bit like me, but it feels solid and well built and purposeful, a bit like me. Nothing feels cheap or flimsy. Everything has a reassuring amount of weight to it, and it gives the impression that FlashForge focused on building a reliable machine rather than simply making something that looks good on your worktop. And when it's working, and thankfully that's most of the time, it works extremely well. The print quality has genuinely impressed me. Details are sharp, surfaces are clean, and colour transitions look really good. The biggest surprise though has just been how much filament you don't waste during multicolour printing. You waste almost none, if you don't count the purge tower, of course. Watching the Creator switch between colours without producing mountains of purge waste almost feels strange because we've become so used to seeing it on other printers, and for me that's what makes this printer really stand apart. Now, during the first few weeks I ran into a handful of issues that at times became a little frustrating. To be fair, the encouraging part though is that none of them were hardware failures. Instead, they were mostly related to firmware and software. And throughout my testing, FlashForge have remained responsive, regularly releasing updates aimed at improving stability, overall user experience, etc. The first issue I encountered wasn't a big issue, but it was an issue. It was the filament snapping off inside the Bowden tubes. Now, thankfully, this turned out to be more of an inconvenience rather than a serious problem, and it only happened a couple of times, but FlashForge uses this simple twist lock Bowden fitting to remove the tubes. Clearly that means taking away those broken filaments only took a few minutes, and in fairness I don't think this was really the printer's fault. Any filament that's been left exposed can become brittle as it absorbs that moisture in the air, and I've seen exactly the same thing happen on other printers, including the A1, the Cobra X, just to name a couple. Once I'd cleared that blockage, everything was back up and running quickly, so although it happened more than once, it certainly wasn't a deal breaker, and it was pretty simple to fix. The next issue, however, proved to be a little more frustrating. It centred around the purge tower. When everything behaved itself, it worked exactly as you would expect. The tower built perfectly, the printer purged into it during the colour changes, and the print carried on without any problems. But unfortunately, on a couple of longer multi-colour prints, especially tall ones, the purge tower decided it had just had enough and detached from the build plate. Now once that happens, the printer has no idea anything is wrong, of course. It simply keeps purging into thin air, leaving strands of filament spaghetti all over the print instead of neatly building the tower. If you've ever lost a print 20 hours into a job, you'll know exactly how frustrating that feels. Now, to FlashForge's credit, they didn't ignore the issue. As new firmware and Flash Studio updates arrived, I definitely noticed that the purge tower behaved more consistently. By the end of the testing, I experienced far fewer problems than I had during the first couple of weeks of use, which suggests the software is moving in the right direction. Then came the issue that caused me more frustration than anything else during this review, and one that I've seen other people have experienced on the Tinterweb. The dreaded MCU communication lost error. Like quite a few owners and early adopters, I experienced this myself, and because it happened so randomly, it quickly became the hardest problem to diagnose. Now, one print would run perfectly for hours without missing a beat. The next would suddenly stop, display an MCU communication lost error, and refuse to continue properly. After restarting the printer, it would offer me to resume the print, but in my experience it never managed to fully recover itself successfully. This wasn't just frustrating because a print had failed, it was frustrating because there didn't seem to be any obvious pattern to it. Now, thankfully, FlashForge's support team were excellent throughout the process. Rather than leaving me to figure it out on my own, they stayed in regular contact while we worked through a series of troubleshooting steps together. The first job, of course, was checking any obvious hardware issues. They asked me to inspect and reconnect the toolhead communication cable, making sure everything was seated correctly. We also confirmed the printer settings, updated the firmware, and installed every new version of Flash Studio as it became available. The next recommendation surprised me a little, but bear with me, because by this point I'd already started tweaking settings to try and solve the purge tower issue myself. I'd experimented with bed temperatures, added brims, made a few other changes that most experienced 3D printers would naturally try. FlashForge asked me to undo all of that. They recommended switching the settings back to the standard FlashForge material profiles, leaving the purge tower enabled and avoiding any custom changes while they investigated the communication error. Now, at first I was skeptical, to put it mildly. I was convinced that the slicer settings could have no connection to an MCU communication error, but when you stop and you think about it, it actually makes kind of sense. When you're trying to diagnose a fault, your first priority is eliminating as many variables as possible. Returning everything to known, tested settings gives you a clean starting point before looking for something more serious. Those initial steps, they did definitely improve things. I was quite surprised, but they didn't completely eliminate the problem on my machine anyway. Even so, I came away feeling positive. One thing FlashForge weren't pretending is that the issue didn't exist. They continued gathering feedback from reviewers and customers too, while releasing firmware and software updates aiming at improving communication stability and the overall printing experience. And eventually, after yet another firmware update arrived to both the printer and the Flash Studio, I reset everything back to the recommended defaults, loaded up another print, crossed my little fingers, and this time the difference was immediately noticeable. The print completed without a single MCU communication. In fact, I've not had an MCU communication lost error since. It finally felt like the Creator 5 was turning a corner. With each software release, stability improved, confidence started to build, and it became increasingly clear that FlashForge were committed to refining the platform rather than abandoning it after launch. The model I've been trying to complete through most of this testing was the Galactic Armory's Master Chief controller holder. You may have seen it if you've never seen one before. It's a fantastic 4-colour print that creates a Master Chief figure capable of holding either your PS5 or your Xbox controller. It's also an excellent real-world test for any multi-material printer because it's a long, complex and packed with colour changes. Encouraged by the success of the Master Chief print, I decided to jump straight into another Galactic Armory model, this time the Star Wars Clone Trooper controller holder. I loaded a fresh set of filaments, used exactly the same settings that had worked so well on the previous Halo print, and pressed start. Straight away, things felt different. Again, no MCU communication errors, the purge tower this time behaved itself, everything looked like it was finally coming together. Unfortunately, about halfway through the print, one of the support structures on the left arm lost adhesion to the build plate and collapsed. At that point, I had no real choice other than to stop the print and start again. Now, support failures are not always the printer's fault. Anyone who spends enough time around 3D printers knows that supports are always a compromise. I adjusted the support settings, slightly resliced the model and sent it back to the printer again. This time, things went much better. Interestingly, I still noticed a small support failure in exactly the same place, to be honest, but instead the printer kept running. It only left a tiny imperfection underneath the arm, and once the model was sitting on a display, you would never even notice it. The rest of the print looked fantastic. The colours lined up beautifully, the surface finish was really good, and the overall quality was just what I wanted. But I did notice occasional hint of colour bleed in one or two places, but it certainly wasn't enough to spoil the finished model. Now, personally, I think there's still room for FlashForge to continue to refine the colour transitions through future firmware and slicer updates, but even in its current state, the results are genuinely impressive. Then came one of my favourite prints of the month for me anyway, being a big Star Wars fan. This one was a little different because it's the first print I've actually painted myself from start to finish inside the slicer. I resized it down to make 3 little copies on the build plate, and this is where the Creator 5 really started to show me that the flash swap is capable of. All 3 models printed beautifully. The detail was crisp, the colours were vibrant, and perhaps most importantly, I wasn't watching piles of wasted filament building up beside the printer every time it changed the colour. I never get used to that. It's a marvellous thing to watch. That alone has completely changed the experience. I also printed a TIE Fighter from Galactic Armory, a 3MF file that was completed without a single issue. As a huge Star Wars fan, as I said, I honestly couldn't have been happier with how it turned out. The printer also produced the base for my Jeune the Swan CA3D print that I'll show you in a separate video. I'll link it at the end. It did it in a single colour. And once again, the result was excellent. Clean layers, great finish, and exactly what I'd come to expect from a quality Core XY machine. Next up was a batch of multicoloured Nike Jordan key fobs, and once again no drama, no unexpected failures, just another beautiful set of flawless prints. Look, after a month of living with this, the Creator 5, I realised something. Yeah, I know I've mentioned it a few times already, but flash swap really is the future of 3D printers. It separates this printer from everything else that I have used for years. I've looked at multicolour printing and thought it looked amazing, but I've always struggled to justify the amount of filament some of these 3D printers just waste and I have to throw away. I watch perfectly good plastic just disappear into purge buckets and never sat comfortably with me. The Creator 5 changes that. Instead of producing mountains of waste during every colour change, it swaps between dedicated tool heads while generating remarkably little waste. Apart from that purge tower, it's one of the things that is difficult to appreciate until you actually see it happening in person. Now, once I'd spent a few weeks printing like this, I genuinely found myself choosing more multicolour models simply because they no longer felt wasteful. For me, that's much more than a clever marketing feature. It completely changes the way I think about multi-material printing, and once the firmware update started improving reliability, I finally reached the point where I could stop worrying about the printer and simply enjoy using it. Another area that felt a little inconsistent during the early weeks was the mobile app. For the most part, it does exactly what you'd expect. You can monitor your prints remotely, check progress, keep an eye on the machine without having to wander out to your man cave. The frustration came from the live camera feed. There were quite a few occasions where I'd open the app to check on a print only to find the camera wasn't available. Normally that wouldn't be a huge issue, but while in those early days I was keeping an eye on the occasional MCU communication areas and purge towers falling over, etc., being able to check on the printer remotely was actually quite important to me. Instead, I often found myself wandering backwards and forwards to the man cave just to make sure everything was still behaving. Good for the step count, not quite the point though of remote monitoring. Thankfully though, this is another area that's improved noticeably during my testing. As newer firmware and Flash Studio updates arrived, the connection became much more stable and much more reliable. Is it perfect? We're not quite. I'd still like to see FlashForge continue refining both the mobile app and the camera quality, but it's encouraging to see clear progress rather than the software standing still. Interestingly, I found the camera feed through the Flash Studio on my PC to be much more reliable than the mobile app. The image quality, it isn't going to win any cinematography awards. It occasionally looks like it's been filmed through a potato, but it does exactly what it is supposed to do. You can keep an eye on long prints without any constant checking on the machine in person. And that's ultimately what matters. One feature I wasn't planning to test was the power loss recovery, but unfortunately Mother Nature had other ideas, as halfway through a print we had a genuinely power cut. It's one of those features you hope you'll never need, but the moment the lights go out it suddenly becomes incredibly important. And thankfully, once the power was restored, the Creator 5 was turned back on, it detected the interrupted print and it asked me whether I wanted to resume. I selected resume, crossed my fingers, said a prayer, let it get back to work, and to its credit it picked up exactly where it had left off and completed the print without any problems. If you've ever invested 20 hours or more into a print, you will know just how reassuring it is to have a recovery system that actually works. That alone could save you a huge amount of wasted time and material, and you don't have to pray as much to the 3D printing gods. There is, however, one issue that's been discussed quite a bit by early Creator 5 owners, and it's something I experienced to a lesser extent myself. It centres around the way the printer handles its purge material. Now, rather than directing the purge into a dedicated waste chute or collector bin, the Creator 5 ejects filament from the front of the machine, allowing it to fall into the base of the printer. On the standard Creator 5, this is mostly a housekeeping issue, but every now and then you'll find yourself clearing away stray strands of filament that have collected inside the printer. The Creator 5 Pro is where things become concerning because the Pro includes a heated chamber. It also has an intake fan positioned close to the purge area. Now, several owners have shared videos showing long strands of purge filament being drawn into that fan during printing. Obviously, that's something nobody wanted to see happening inside a brand new machine. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that, to FlashForge's credit, they responded quickly, as you would expect. A recent firmware update delays the chamber fan from starting until the purge sequence is finished, reducing the chances of that filament being sucked in. But not only that, they've now further enhanced it, and now new firmware appears to move the purge location slightly further towards the rear of the printer, which also helps reduce the problem from what I've seen. Now, of course, I'd have preferred some of these issues to have been ironed out before release. I think everyone would, but I'd much rather see continuous improvement after launch than a company pretending the problem doesn't exist. And over the course of this month, that's exactly what I've seen from FlashForge. With each update, the printer becomes more noticeably stable, more reliable, and perhaps most importantly, more enjoyable to use. That gave me confidence that the Creator 5 is moving in the right direction rather than standing still. After living with the Creator 5 for just over a month, I think I've got a pretty good understanding of what the printer is and what it isn't. It isn't a flawless machine. No machine is. If you'd asked me during those first couple of weeks what I thought of it, you'd probably have caught me at the wrong moment, because the occasional MCU comms errors and the purge tower deciding to take an early dip, the odd software quirk here and there, were definitely times when my patience was being tested. Another thing that I see has been added to the Creator 5 is model isolation, and I think it's genuinely useful. If you're printing multiple models on the same build plate and one of them fails, you no longer have to cancel the entire print. Instead, you can isolate the failed model, stop printing just that object, and allow the printer to continue with everything else. It's one of those features that you hopefully won't need very often, but when you do, it could save hours of printing time and a considerable amount of wasted filament. It's what other printers do, and it's now what the FlashForge Creator 5 does. It's another good example of FlashForge continuing and genuinely helping to improve the functionality rather than simply fixing bugs, and it shows that the platform is still evolving with each firmware release. Thank you for watching today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure you think about subscribing to the channel. Every subscription really helps. We do have a Patreon. You're probably sick of me saying this. If you want to join it, it can be free or a couple of quid a month, but thank you to my Patreons for taking the time to do so and support the channel. It really is appreciated. Thank you to FlashForge for sending me the Creator 5. I haven't been paid to make this video at all, but I have made the video to try to show you that the issues that are there, then they're not being ignored, they are being looked at, and certainly in the printer that I've been using for the last month, I've noticed a dramatic improvement in it, and we are getting there to a really reliable, strong, excellent printer, which for me 95% of the time now is throwing out perfect print after perfect print. Still a few little things to iron out, I know, of course, but there usually is with most printers. Things improve as time goes on. Let me know your thoughts, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D.